This is the L2C Media Network. And if you were watching last night, you missed a very unpredictable sporty balls. We had it all last night, and we thank our friend Steve's cousin Deborah for spicing it up. And I can't wait, Steve, till Monday. Yeah, I can't wait either. By the way, Friday, no show unless I get back from where we're going to drop um, Deborah off. That's why I'm going to be needing another person to help me out on the drive. By the way, I want to thank Deborah because I'm going to save this for the open. Uh, Pangborn, you got it. All right. Live from the fourth floor. Live from. Hey, it's been a day. Live from the Tom O'Neill Memorial Studios on the uh, fourth floor of the Park Forest apartment complex somewhere in the boonies of Michigan. The L2C Media Network is proud to present Steve Sporty Balls. And now, ladies and gentlemen, strap in, strap on, and go mad. Just noticed something. We don't have a camera. Kidding. We don't have a camera? Yeah, we do. Well, get it up there, pal. All right. Now, here's our host. Oh, what's his name? Hey, how you doing, everybody? Welcome. If you were with us last night, if you were with you, were entertained as hell. I had my cousin Deborah here, and she literally took over the show. Deborah is also going to be a part of the show starting Monday. She will be our New York, yes, friends. She will be, we already said it. She'll be our New York State correspondent for Steve's Sporty Balls. She's going to have her own show on Twitch, and we're glad to have her as part of the L2C, the Last Call Cafe Media Network. And with that said, I also want to thank some people. I had a little problem last night, and I had to go to the emergency room to take care of some business, and I'm glad I did. So I have an appointment with Felipe tomorrow to do some talking, and I just want to say one thing. Thanks to everybody for their concern. I had a little stomach problem last night. I'll just leave it like that. Anyway, glad you could be with us here on our little broadcast that puts everything in the uh, in the realms of whoopee and sports. It was a just freak out of a night last night. We could barely get any of the sports in. What we did good. It was a good show. It was unpredictable. It was just what the doctor ordered last night. Thank those of you who are watching. If you didn't watch us live, watch us on the rebroadcast. We had a blast. Deborah is going to be moving somewhere to, as we said, New York State. And So we're going to have a little fun. Eat Friday, and we're going to have a friend of ours uh, help me out, on the return trip, and I hope we do return at 9 o'clock. But we'll let everybody know we're back. Everything's going to be okay, and I feel good. So if you want to know what's going to happen, stay tuned. It's going to be good news. Anyway, let's get to some entertainment and media news and everything else news. But before we do that, kids, let's do it now. We're mixing up things. The Arena football was set to have their Arena Bowl 33 this Friday between the Albany Firebirds and Billings Outlaws. After making a return to the pro football scene this year, the AFL has had quite a few ups and downs throughout this inaugural season. One game left to be played, though, they might be facing their largest hurdle yet. League sources tell the folks at Pro Football Newsroom that the AFL has seen some major changes this week when it comes to leadership. In addition, issues stemming from financial fraud has put the Arena Bowl game in jeopardy of even being played at all. According to a league source, the AFL's chief executive officer and chairman, Chris Chetty, has been unanimously voted out of the league by the 18 owners left. Pro Football Newsroom has learned that Chris stole over $110,000 from a fellow employee's credit card, which has resulted in AFL officials and owners stepping in to remove him from his position. In addition to said fraud, Chetty's mismanagement of funds put the AFL in massive debt to the American Dream Entertainment Retail Center. This venue is where the Arena Bowl is currently slated to be played, but with its latest development, it appears that they've pulled the plug entirely on hosting the Arena Bowl 33. They received a statement from a senior league official on the matter that says, quoting, after repeated efforts to recoup the hundreds of thousands of dollars promised by Chris Chetty, American Dream has pulled the plug on the AFL. Chris Chetty has continually broken promises and has left us with no other option. Chetty was unable to attend meetings and Arena Bowl preparations due to being denied entry into the United States. Say what? League officials are currently working toward a potential solution, which could include playing this game at a different venue. There are a few options on the table. The league could play the game this Friday in Albany, figure out a date to play the game in Billings, or they could host it in Nashville next Saturday. Here's an update. We've been told that the game could potentially still be played this Friday if American Dream is paid in full. This remains to be seen. Now, it's been a whirlwind for everyone involved with the AFL this season. Multiple teams folded during the course of the year. Ownership hasn't always been steady. And the league has had several fallouts with personnel and teams over the past few months. Now, with only one game left on the docket, the season finale is at risk of not being played on time or even at all. Now, it's pro football. What's this thing called again? Boy. It's called Pro Football Newsroom. When they get any more information, we'll bring it to you. And the game is slated to air on CBS. I say slated to, but how can you slate something when there's no, well, when can you slate it if unfortunately you can't do anything? Okay. More entertainment news. This from our good friends at Fightful Select. The upcoming agreement between SmackDown and the USA Network was originally slated to begin next year, but it will actually start in September. of this year. Consequently, the new broadcast replacement for SmackDown on Fox has been revealed. NBC Universal previously announced that WWE SmackDown will move to the USA Network starting Friday, September 13th. Earlier than initially expected, this move comes after the announcement of a 5-year deal between WWE and the USA Network set to take effect when SmackDown rights with Fox expire. Fox has unveiled its Fall 24 schedule, revealing the replacement for SmackDown Friday nights at 8. That slot will be occupied by Fox College Football Friday, Fox College Hoops, and Fox UFL. Fox intended to move several September episodes of SmackDown to FS1 due to college football coverage. This prompted USA Network to step in and bring SmackDown over earlier, recognizing that it has a broader reach than FS1. It remains to be seen whether Friday Night SmackDown, returning to the USA Network, will end up becoming the best deal WWE made for the Blue brand so far. After all, there's a lot of hype for the show's return to the USA Network. So, wow skis. Let's continue. The NBA and WNBA reached an agreement with Disney and Amazon on a new round of TV deals worth $76 billion. Oh, excuse me. Let's try that again. The NBA and WNBA reached an agreement with Disney, NBC, and Amazon on a new round of TV deals worth $76 billion over 11 years, and the WNBA will earn $2.2 billion over the life of the deal, or $200 million a year, according to someone familiar with the agreement, which represents a 6 times gain compared to its prior ESPN deal. The average annual value of the agreed-upon combined NBA and WNBA rights package is more than 150% higher than the prior pact, which was worth $2.7 billion a year and expires after this season. The WNBA commanded only 1% of the prior TV deal, but nearly 3% of the current one. The two leagues negotiated their TV rights together, but they have different term sheets. The total value could move higher if the WNBA continues on its current growth trajectory. A clause in the deal allows the league and its partners to re-examine the rights deal after 3 years. The NBA's Board of Governors approved their deal Tuesday, and Warner Brothers Discovery, as the incumbent deal holder, now has 5 days, 1 week, to match for a rights package. The Athletic was the first to report on the WNBA's cut of the new agreement. The WNBA also expects to sell 2 additional packages of games that could be worth $60 million or more per year. The league currently has media deals with ION, CBS, and Amazon on top of its ESPN agreement. The deal, including ESPN, are worth $60 million this year, but again, the AAV was $43 million. When all of the agreements are reached, the WNBA's annual TV rights fee will be worth at least $260 million. CBS and ION are slated to be the favorites for the additional packages. It is a massive win for the 28-year-old Women's Professional Basketball League. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert previously said she wanted to double the league's rights fees, and instead they'll likely rise 500%. The average WNBA franchise is worth $96 million, according to Sportico's June team valuations, 45% premium to the average NWSL team last year. Investors have been buying limited partnership stakes at soaring valuations. With anticipation of the new media deal, part of the calculus, the WNBA secured expansion teams in San Francisco and Toronto, but a team has not changed hands since 2021 when the Atlanta Dream and Las Vegas Aces sold for single-digit millions of dollars. The Aces, which sold for $2 million, are WNBA's most valuable team at $140 million. Not all of the WNBA's money will filter down to team owners, since the league's equity was previously split 50-50 between NBA owners and WNBA owners. And will you excuse me for a few moments? I got to see if there's anyone at the door. Excuse me, folks. Talk amongst yourselves for a bit.
V is back. Okay, we're back. The split. Since the league's equity was previously split 50-50 between the NBA owners and WNBA owners in early 2022, the WNBA also announced to raise $75 million from a group of strategic investors, including Nike, Michael Dell, Linda Henry, Dee Haslam, Condoleezza Rice, Mickey Arison, and Lawrence Powell Jobs. Some, like Ted Leonis, Washington Spirit, Joe Tsai, New York Liberty, and Herb Simon, Indiana Fever, tripled down on the league. They're part of the Rays owned WNBA teams and owned a stake in the league through their NBA team ownership. Now, the deal carved out 16% for a new consortium at $400 million valuation, or $475 million post-money value. It means that 42% of central revenue, mainly TV money, funnels down to the WNBA clubs. That's a lot. Okay, let's keep on going. And sad to say, when it comes to the bizarre world of sports talk debate, Skip Bayless is undeniably a legend. Whether you agree with him or not, there's no denying that his rise from hot take newspaper columnist to hot take talking head on television served as a microcosm for the evolution of the sports opinion industry and the destruction of Fox Sports Net, or Fox Sports 1, and the cancellation of Fox Sports News, or as I like to call it, Fox Sports Live. Now, there's a reason why we in Awful Announcing have covered his uncertain future at Fox as fervently as we've had, and here's why. The New York Post reports that his time at the network is nearing its end and has been treated like the massive story that it is. There's no denying that Bayless's impending exit from Fox marks the end of an era, regardless of how you feel about said era. And that's not only because it appears FS1 will once again be revamping its daytime programming, even if Undisputed survives without Bayless. You can pretty much set your calendar to FS1 shifting its strategy, and it looks like we're once again approaching that time of year. But while we'll soon find out what's next for FS1, it is finally time to build. Is it finally time to build around Nick Wright? What's more interesting is what's next for Bayless, and that's not because there's an abundance of obvious landing spots for a 72-year-old, but rather very little spots. Anytime a major star leaves the network, the obvious question is, where are they heading? Off-season speculation in sports has become a cottage industry because people love putting together the puzzle pieces to project the unknown, and a lot of people, including us and Awful Announcing, have done the same. So, obviously, ESPN don't want him or need him. And as gambling companies get smarter about where they spend their content budgets, it's hard to imagine one aligning itself with a high-priced talent who hasn't been much of a ratings draw in recent years. Even X has already hitched its sports talk wagon to Jim Rome. While it's always possible, albeit hardly likely, Bayless could patch things up with Shannon Sharpe or secure another big money deal from a sports book or social media platform. His options are limited. Bayless surely will land somewhere, and even if it's his own podcast or YouTube show, hey, you're going into my turf. Or a platform more obscure than the ones that have been accustomed to seeing him on. But asking what's next in 2024 for Skip Bayless feels like asking what's next for Matt Ryan following his 2022 season with the Indianapolis Colts. Well, we wish Skip very well, and we hope whatever happens, he'll be happy, and he'll be back at it. But you know what they say, when you're done, you're done. We're just getting started. Mm-hmm. She was more. Okay, let us. Hey, it's 10:35. By the way, Steve, I made a prototype logo for that show that Deborah thought of. Not sure what the show is going to be about. It's going to be probably about 30 minutes long. Don't know. We'll try to talk to her about it whilst we're on a traveling. Uh, well, I'll ask Deborah about the description of the show and let her tell you tomorrow. I got an appointment to see my crisis counselor, Felipe. Anyway, I think she wants it to be sort of like a low budget version of the Daily Show, only funnier. Also in sports, let's give you the headline. Major League Baseball is exploring a potential overhaul of its broadcast landscape. Commissioner Rob Manfred has opened the door to a future national broadcast package. According to Sports Business Journal, Manfred said discussions are happening about a national broadcast package, potentially including half the league's teams. This suggests a move away from the current regional sports network system and toward a more centralized streaming model. And during a recent conversation about the future of the RSN model, Manfred made sure to add that he's conferred with major streaming companies at Sun Valley last week to gain insights on building products for a broad audience. The Major League Baseball Players Association chief, Tony Clark, acknowledges the league's discussions regarding RSNs despite the union's current non-involvement. In doing so, he emphasized the importance of staying informed as these talks could significantly impact team revenues affecting players. Now, while the potential impact on the RSN model and its implications for other sports leagues are intriguing, navigating the complexities of negotiations and potential revenue changes will be a significant hurdle for Major League Baseball, the MLBPA, broadcasters, and ultimately us fans. Matt Edneny, just thought I'd do my part in helping out with the show since I'm doing stuff to help out for the L2C revival. Great man. That's why you are the producer and one half of the broadcast team. Speaking of futures, let's do a little bit for our friends in Canada. Canada's Chorus Entertainment Incorporated warned that it may soon breach its debt covenants and said it's planning more restructuring as advertising revenue spirals downward. The shares plunged to a record low. Analysts advise shareholders to get out before the company is recapitalized. Adam Shine, an analyst at National Bank Financial, cut his price target to 1 Canadian cent, saying, quote, "It's hard for us to ascribe any remaining value for equity holders," end quote, he wrote. Chorus fell 23%, closed at 15.5 Canadian cents in Toronto on Monday. The shares were as low as 12.5 cents, marching a low point set in late June. The television broadcaster issued a so-called going concern warning in quarterly financial results that disappointed analysts. Toronto-based Chorus reported a revenue of 332 million Canadian dollars, or 243 American, in the fiscal quarter ended May 31st. That's a 16% drop from a year earlier. The company, which has about 1 billion Canadian in long-term debt, is about to lose the rights to keep programming and trademark deals with Warner Brothers Discovery Incorporated. The channels, which include HGTV and the Food Network, are highly profitable, but rival Rogers Communications will have the Canadian rights. As of January, Chorus will carry on with new programming under different brands. Chorus, which has cut hundreds of jobs recently, needs quote, a much more aggressive cost-cutting drive, end quote. Scotiabank analyst Maher Yahi wrote a note to investors Monday, executives told analysts they're in the process of eliminating 800 jobs, with 500 completed and 300 more to come. Let's see. TD Cowen analyst Vince Valentini also chopped his target to 5 Canadian cents. On an adjusted basis, Chorus lost about 20 million Canadian dollars in the fiscal third quarter. Chorus expects television advertising revenue to fall by a similar percentage in the current quarter. It attributes weak sales due to lingering effects of the Hollywood writer strike, foreign competition in digital video market, and low advertising demand in linear television. Oh. Yes, it makes you want to cry, don't it? Yes, sir. Mm. There. Having some lemon drink. Watching night 3 of the GOP convention in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was watching Dynamite. We're going to give you a review of that. Plus, your All-Star game. So let's do that. Okay. Let's bring you the last night's Major League Baseball All-Star game was beautiful. Scusa. Before we do that, the Open Championship is rocking and ready to go. The UK. The first round of the final major championship of the season is set to begin tomorrow morning at Royal Troon as players fight for a last chance of golf immortality in 2024. With weather expected to roll into the area throughout the week, the Open Championship, or as we like to just call it simply, the British Open, leaderboard could be affected by simply when a player stepped onto the golf course. In the early stages of round 1, it's Jon Rahm who will be among the first stars to trickle onto Royal Troon. The two-time major champion will open his tournament alongside Tommy Fleetwood and Robert McIntyre across the first 2 days beginning at 4:36 a.m. Eastern. And along with that, you've got Ludwig Aberg, Bryson DeChambeau, and Tom Kim, 4:47 a.m. our time, along with the reigning champion golfer of the year, Brian Harman, Victor Hovland, and Saith Theegala immediately after that at 4:58. Rory McIlroy begins his quest for major number 4 in the following next tee times with Max Homa and Tyrrell Hatton by his side. And as the day progresses into afternoon, additional contenders will be alongside. Tiger Woods will be with good friends Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay beginning at 9:37 a.m. A few moments later, world number 1 Scotty Scheffler will begin his quest for the Claret Jug at 10 a.m. And if you want to see it, you can watch Golf Channel, as they will be the home of the. Hey, Taylor Swift, greater than Disney, Star Wars, and MCU, and Doctor Who. It's great to have you with us. All righty. Oh, Kitty. Okay, let's get you some scores, and we can all get out of here. But before we do that, let's get you one thing, and that is what happened in the All-Star game last night as we were doing our thing. Speedy Jaron Duran describes himself, and we'll hold off so we can get in for you. Speedy Jaron Duran describes himself as a player who keeps his head down, works hard, and never thinks of himself as being better than anyone else. Duran turned some heads in his first All-Star game, hitting a tie-breaking two-run homer for the American League and being awarded the MVP trophy named after Boston Red Sox legend Ted Williams. The decisive homer came in the fifth inning Tuesday night as the AL beat the National League for the 10th win in the past 11 All-Star games 5-3. Pittsburgh rookie Paul Skenes pitched a hitless first for the NL, twice hitting 100 miles per hour, and Shohei Ohtani also went deep in Texas with a 3-1 homer for a 3-zip lead in the third. Juan Soto hit a 2-run double and scored on David Fry's single to tie the score in the AL third, and Duran went deep off Cincinnati's Hunter Green. Oakland right-hander Mason Miller got the win after throwing a 103.6-mile pitch, the fastest in the All-Star game since tracking began in 2008. Hard-throwing Cleveland closer Emmanuel Claus struck out 2 in the ninth for the save. The 22-year-old Skenes, who had pitched only 11 big league games since being the number 1 overall pick in the draft last July, became the first rookie starter since 1995 and had the fewest games played for any player. Lander threw a hitless first with a 2-out walk to Soto before his Yankee teammate Aaron Judge grounded into a force out in the next pitch. Ohtani, who had gone deep 29 times in the first season of his record $700 million 10-year deal with the Dodgers, pulled a 400-foot drive to right off Tanner Houck that came after the Boston right-hander allowed singles to the first 2 batters he faced, number 9 batter Jurickson Profar and leadoff hitter Ketel Marte. When Ohtani went against Miller in the fifth, he struck out on an 89.2-mile-per-hour slider well inside and out of the strike zone. That was after twice taking strikes on fastballs of more than 100 miles per hour. This game, played in 2 hours and 28 minutes, was the shortest All-Star game since '88, a game that the AL won 2-1 in Cincinnati that only took 2 minutes less. Okay, shall we do our duty? As our duty is done, yes, we shall. Let us get you to today's little scoreboard, and we will recap the 250th edition of AEW Dynamite. Coming up. Okay. In the WNBA, the Lynx beat the Dream 86-79. Wings beat the Fever 101-93. In Major League Soccer action, in the 62nd minute, some games still going on like this one. The New York Red Bulls lead Montreal 1-0. Just underway, the LA Galaxy and Colorado Rapids start off with blank, as in nothing. Also, in 8 minutes, San Jose Earthquake, Houston Dynamo are also at scoreless level. Also in 8 minutes, Seattle Sounders, St. Louis City, also scoreless. Also scoreless, also 8 minutes in, Vancouver over Kansas City. Final scores, Columbus Crew and the Charlotte Football Club ended in a 1-1 tie. Philadelphia beat New England 5-1. Chicago over Cincinnati 1-0. Atlanta and New York City tied in 2, otherwise known as the ballet score, 2-2. Inter Miami over Toronto 3-1. Dallas over Austin 3-1. DC United over Minnesota 3-2. Orlando over Nashville 3-0. Los Angeles and Real Salt Lake started about 5 minutes ago. You can catch that one on Apple TV or FS1. In the UEFA Champions League, all games finale, Slovian Bratislava over Struga 2-1. Differdang over Key, well, scored 0-0. Also, final score, Dinamo Batumi over Ludogorets 1-0. Petro Cub over Ordabase 1-0. Riga's Football Scola over Lauren 4-0. And Ignacia Razine over FK Borac Banja Luka 2-1. Liga MX Soccer in the 90th minute plus one extra minute for injury time. Monterrey over Necaxa 1-0. In the 82nd minute, Pumas lead the FC Juarez 2-1. Games starting a little late. Toluca and Mazatlan and Tigres in American Brazilian soccer. San Paulo over Grêmio 1-0. Vasco da Gama beat Atletico GO 1-0. Botafogo over Palmeiras 1-0. Fortaleza over Vitória 3-1. Fluminense and Atletico PR postponed. Internacional and Flamengo also postponed. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're saying. We got 9 minutes. So how are we going to total this, folks? Our clock here says we've been on the air for 36 minutes, but we go by the regular clock on the wall. So we're going to see if we can't at least get you a 45-minute. Outrageousness. I'm still drinking here. Okay. I think we're going to go about, we're ending at 11 o'clock either way. So, MILB.com scores. Okay, you ready? I'm ready. And then we'll, of course, adjourn for the evening. And we will come back bright and beautiful and fantastic for all to see and be seen. Yes. Okay. Let's see here. Today's July 17th. Here we go. The ACL Cubs beat the ACL Brewers 7-4. Or actually, these are scores that are still going on. Here we go. Top of the fifth. ACL Cubs over the ACL Brewers 7-4. Bottom of the fifth. ACL Athletics over the ACL Angels 5-3. Bottom of the fifth, in the completion of the July 9th game, DSL Reds lead DSL Orioles Black 1-1. Final scores: DSL Blue Jays over the DSL Cardinals 8-6. That was game 2. In game 1, the DSL Cardinals beat the DSL Blue. The DSL Blue Jays beat the DSL Cardinals 9-8. DSL Padres Brown beat the DSL Braves 9-2. FCL Nationals over FCL Cardinals 4-3. The completion of the July 9th game, DSL Rockies over DSL Miami 16-1. Final in 9 innings, completion of the July 8th game between the DSL Astros and the DSL Astros Blue, DSL Astros Orange. The Astros Orange beat the Astros Blue 4-3. Another one of a completed July 9th game. DSL Cubs lost to the DSL Reds 10-1. In the makeup of July 2nd, DSL Angels over the DSL Giants Black 4-3. In the other final, DSL Angels in Game 1 defeated DSL Giants Black 5-2. DSL Athletic 7, DSL Cleveland Mendoza, nothing. DSL Giants Orange over DSL Mets Blue 4-3. DSL Rangers Blue 10, DSL Marlins 5, DSL Brewers 1, 9, DSL Reds 3. Finals in 11 innings, DSL Red Sox Red 11, DSL White Sox 6. DSL New York Yankee Bombers lost to the DSL Tigers 1, 9-8. DSL Nationals over the DSL Cubs Blue 7-2. DSL Royals Ventura defeated DSL Rays 4-1. Final in 10 innings, DSL Dodgers Mega 7, DSL Brewers 2-9. That was final 10 innings, Brewers over the Dodgers. DSL Phillies Red lost to DSL Mets Orange 2-1. DSL Pirates Black defeated the DSL Padres Gold 5-0. DSL Miami 6, DSL Rockies 3. DSL Colorado 7, DSL Yankees nothing. DSL Orioles Black lost to DSL Orioles Orange 8-0. DSL Arizona Black defeated DSL Pirates Gold 10-6. In the makeup of July 15th's game, DSL Astros Orange 3, DSL Astros Blue nothing. DSL Twins 7, DSL Phillies White 3. DSL Mariners 4, DSL Arizona Red 1. Final in 10, DSL Cleveland Gory lost to DSL Red Sox Blue 4-3. DSL Rojos over the DSL Cubs Red 8-4. Final in 10 innings, DSL Tigers 2 have 9. DSL Rangers Red 7. DSL Tampa Bay defeated DSL Royals Fortuna 16-11. FCL Astros beat the FCL Mets 2-1. In a makeup game, June 4th, the top of the third, a suspended game between the DSL Padres Brown and the DSL Braves, 1-0 Padres Brown on top. Okay, we've gone that route. Let's go to AAA, folks. AAA, beep, beep, Triple Alpha. No, come on. Let's go to AAA. See if there's any scores we can give you in AAA, and then the other classes we got to give you. Because we're going straight. Oh yeah, we've already done this, guys. Okay, AAA, no games. How about AA? No games in the AA. How about in the high A? No games in the high A. How about single A? No games. How about the last one, the rookie games? No games. So that is it for that little fun fest. And that was fun. Okay, folks, we got about 15 minutes, but our clock says 10:59. So, folks, that means that we got about 30 seconds left on our broadcast. And we got to tell you, we will be here Thursday night, but Friday night there will be no broadcast unless we get home at a proper time, or not we. Well, yeah, we, but Friday there could be a broadcast, but it all depends on what time I come home Friday. So we'll keep you updated on Facebook and on X. But for right now, that is going to wrap it up for us. It is 11 o'clock in the East Coast, 7 p.m. on the West Coast. We got to keep it straight. We got to keep it flowing. That's going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. For my producer and the luckiest man on the face of this earth, Mr. Matthew Nichols, the Wizard, and our other producer, Jay the Brain with 2 N's to avoid legal man. Wait a minute, I forgot something. Oh, yeah, I did forget something. Yes, I did forget something. I am glad somebody reminded me what I forgot. We got to give you the report on what happened in Dynamite tonight. Dynamite celebrating its 250th episode. Came to you from the Simmons Bank Arena in Little Rock, Arkansas. Let's go to it. We're going to call this main event number 1. Will Ospreay took on MJF for the AEW International Championship. And as you know, our rules here, when we give you a recap, it's just, cutting the BS and getting straight to the win. The winner and new International Champion, MJF. Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith host another edition of TV Time with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, and had a very special guest, and that was Minoru Suzuki, and he is one man that Jericho has never beat. Mercedes Moné, so next week it's going to be Suzuki will be challenging Jericho for the FTW Championship with Jericho's cronies Bill and Keith banned from ringside. And that will be, I do believe, next week. That's going to be fun. Mercedes Moné took on Nyla Rose for the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné won that one. Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana versus Kazuchika Okada. And the winner of that, Swerve Strickland, via disqualification due to interference. And who do you think did it but the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson? What a couple of rats. Anyway, that was it for the broadcast of of Dynamite's 250th episode. And now that's going to wrap it up for us. And we thank you all for joining us. We love you guys and gals. We'll be back regular at Thursday night, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, no matter what happens or occurs. Friday night is still a question mark because I am hoping we are leaving Friday morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time to drop Debbie off at her grandma's in New York. We will then drive all the way back. Everything is okay. And Chrissy from the Peterson family, good friends of mine, is going to be my co-pilot to make sure I do not sleep. I am the only one that drives, so I will be driving my little buddy. So I'm going to make sure all the tires are filled up and everything goes according to plan. We will see you hopefully Friday night. If not, we'll see you on Saturday night. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network. See you tomorrow night. Definitely 10 o'clock right here for another edition of Steve's